Have you ever stopped to realize that every morning is more than just a new day? It's an invisible contract, one you sign, either with fear or with faith. The Bible says in Psalm 5, verse 3, "O Lord, in the morning you hear my voice. In the morning I lay my requests before you and wait expectantly." Every sunrise is a secret altar. Your mind wakes up like a sacred temple, and the first thoughts you place upon that altar become the offerings that will shape the direction of your entire day. If the first thing you place there is worry, anxiety, or complaint, then that is what will rule over you until nightfall. But if your very first breath invites God in, if your very first word plants faith, gratitude, and hope, you begin to build an invisible fortress around you, a shield that will stand between you and every storm, from the moment you open your eyes until the moment they close again. Imagine this. Your breath at dawn is like a feather of light. The air that enters your lungs writes the very first page of your day. The question is, who's holding the pen? Fear or faith? Welcome to the Napoleon Inspires, a space created to remind you that every thought is a key and every prayer is a portal. Stay until the end, because what you're about to hear may forever change the way you start your mornings and your life. There are people who wake up, but never truly wake up to life. They rise in body, but their soul stays asleep, buried under the weight of routine, under the pressure of bills, under the noise of yesterday's worries that follow them like invisible chains. Have you ever felt that? Opening your eyes and feeling that tightness in your chest you can't explain? That anxious knot that greets you before your coffee, before your first word, as if anxiety itself was sitting on the edge of your bed, waiting for you to wake up. That is one of the enemy's cruelest tricks, to steal your first word, to plant seeds of doubt before your lips can speak faith. He reminds you of what's missing, of what's wrong, of what could go wrong. And he does it in the holiest moment of your entire day, the very moment you awaken. Because in that instant, your mind is fertile soil, and every thought becomes a seed. Many start their mornings by checking their phones, scrolling through cold screens that show nothing but fear, comparison, and perfection that isn't real. And before they even realize it, their mind, that sacred temple, becomes a dumpster, where the enemy deposits his first lie of the day. You can't. You don't have enough. You're not enough. The consequence is silent, but devastating. You carry that vibration for hours. You react automatically, and without even realizing it. You build your day on sand instead of rock. So let me ask you something most people never do. Who speaks to you first each morning? God or fear? Napoleon Hill taught a truth that sounds simple, but holds infinite power. What the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Now, listen carefully. Morning is the most fertile moment to conceive what your mind will believe. Each dawn is a hidden laboratory where two forces meet, your will and God's presence. If the first seeds you plant at sunrise are faith, gratitude, and trust, you are cultivating a soil where dreams will grow strong and unstoppable. But if what floods your mind first is worry, complaint, and fear, then your inner laboratory becomes contaminated, and your entire day becomes ruled by doubt. Picture your mind as a great door. The first thought of the day is the key that opens it. If you turn the key of faith, what opens is a garden of possibilities. But if you turn the key of fear, you step into a dark hallway full of whispers of defeat. God already said it clearly. For I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you a future and a hope. Jeremiah 29, verse 11. But those plans await your yes. They await your key. So the question becomes, which key are you using to unlock your mornings? When you understand this spiritual code, you realize that morning is not just the beginning of a day. It's the beginning of an invisible war. And whoever controls your first thought controls the course of your entire day. Here's the revelation. Your first word at dawn is not just a whisper. It's a decree. It's a contract you sign with heaven or with shadow. And what seems like a small, meaningless thought is actually an echo that vibrates through every hour that follows. Never underestimate the power of your first prayer. Within it lies the difference between a day ruled by anxiety and a day marked by victory. So before you look at your phone, before you complain, before fear speaks first, pause and ask yourself, which door will I open today? Faith or fear? Now do something simple. Close your eyes for a few seconds. Listen to these words as if they were your own. Repeat them silently or out loud, but let your heart be fully awake. Beloved Father, today I give you my morning, my thoughts, my words, my steps. I place everything in your hands. I declare that this day begins not in fear, but in faith. No shadow, no voice of doubt, no invisible chain will rule my mind. Lord, you are my refuge. You are the light that guides my steps, the shield that protects me from what I cannot see. Today, I rise under your covering and clothe myself in your peace. In this moment, visualize your day as a golden path opening before you. Every step you take is illuminated by his presence. Every decision you make is guided by his wisdom. And even when fear tries to whisper, remember his promise. The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. Declare this now. My mind is not a battlefield of the enemy. It is a temple where the Spirit of God dwells. My thoughts are prayers. My words are decrees of victory. My actions are seeds of abundance and purpose. Today, I sign my contract with you, Lord, a covenant where you provide the plan and I provide the obedience. You give the grace and I bring the faith. You give me life and I choose to honor it with every breath. Say it with me. Today I walk by faith. Today I breathe in peace. Today I act in victory. And as you declare this, imagine heaven itself opening above you, a rain of light pouring over your home, your family, your dreams, your hidden battles. That light doesn't come from your effort. It comes from the Father who never sleeps, the God who fights for you even when you cannot see the battle. From this moment on, mornings stop being a burden and become a covenant that reminds you. You do not walk alone. Your day is not at the mercy of anxiety. It's under the covering of the one who designed it. Napoleon Hill said, "Faith without action is like a map with no road." And he was right, because prayer alone isn't enough. It must become movement, habit, discipline. So let me give you a simple but powerful method you can use every morning. It takes less than 5 minutes. We'll call it the morning code. Step 1, 1 minute of silence. Before you touch your phone, before you say a single word, sit at the edge of your bed. Breathe deeply and whisper, "Lord, this day belongs to you." That minute is like unlocking the secret laboratory of your mind. Step 2, the declaration of power. Speak a phrase that activates your faith. Say it out loud. Today I walk in light, and nothing will stop me. Or, I am guided, protected, and blessed. Repeat it until you feel it vibrate inside you. Just like a legal decree carries authority, your morning declaration carries spiritual authority. Step 3, conscious writing. Take a special notebook that you use for nothing else. Each morning, write down one single goal, something you want to accomplish today. It could be making a phone call, advancing a project, healing a relationship. Napoleon Hill taught that the mind needs a clear and specific order. When you unite that order with prayer, you seal a pact between your spirit and your action. See, it's not about complicating your mornings with endless rituals. It's about a simple code: silence, declaration, writing, 3 steps that align your mind, your spirit, and your movement. Because prayer opens the door, but action is what walks through it. Faith moves mountains, but your step is the shovel that begins to dig. God gives the plan, but you must walk the path. Do this every morning for 21 days, and you will see the change. You'll notice your mind no longer wakes up in noise, but in direction. Your heart no longer wakes up empty, but filled with purpose. And most powerful of all, you will feel that you are no longer walking alone, that God is walking with you in every detail of your day. Because every morning is an invisible contract, a spiritual document signed by your first thought, your first word, your first minute. So let me ask you again. Are you signing it with fear or with faith? God has already signed his part. He has already said, "My plans for you are good, to give you a future and a hope." But his signature waits for yours. Your consent, your decision to open the right door with the key of faith. Imagine your day as a seed. Whatever you plant in the morning, that's what you'll harvest when night falls. If you plant complaint, you'll harvest exhaustion. If you plant fear, you'll harvest doubt. But if you plant faith, you'll harvest strength. If you plant gratitude, you'll harvest peace. If you plant purpose, you'll harvest victory. So let me leave you with this image. An invisible clock in heaven starts ticking. The very moment you speak your first word at dawn. Each word is a spark, a fire that sets the rhythm of your destiny. What spark will you ignite tomorrow morning? What word will you plant when your eyes open? That single decision could change not just your day, but your entire life. If this message resonated with you, I want to invite you to walk this journey with us. Here at the Napoleon Inspires, you'll find more teachings, prayers, and revelations that will transform the way you think, believe, and act. Here we don't just talk about success. We talk about purpose. We don't just talk about wealth. We talk about wealth with meaning. We don't just talk about faith. We talk about faith in action. So if something in your soul ignited today, subscribe, turn on the bell, and join us in the next videos. Because what's coming next is even more powerful and might just be the spark that ignites your next great victory.